Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Ganja Geezer. Tonight we are going to be reviewing a cannabis tincture made by a company called Healthy Creation Edibles LLC from Denver. This is an indica tincture and blackberry flavored. Not my first choice for flavor, but this is the only flavor that was available on the shelf. They say they have trouble keeping them on the shelf. Ingredients are glycerin. This is a glycerin tincture versus an alcohol one. Agave nectar, natural flavoring, and sweet leaf. So obviously they're using leaf instead of extracting it from flower or hash. What else about this? Kind of disturbed by the fact that the website goes nowhere. If you just type in healthycreationedibles.com, it goes to a GoDaddy landing page, and so I don't know if the company's still in business or not. And there's no instructions on here on how to use it. That I find kind of strange, because this is not just like eating a cookie or something. I talked with the salesperson at the dispensary, and she said to take a whole dropper full, put it under your tongue, and hold it there for a minute, and then maybe rub it around on your cheeks and then swallow. I'm going to be more cautious. She said based on my low tolerance, one dropper full should be fine. I'm going to be playing on the safe side and use a half dropper full since I've never done any of this before. In the bottle, there's a handwritten concentration of 150, no unit, but I'm assuming that's milligrams for the estimated cannabinoids. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of another strange thing. And the batch number is handwritten on this, so this is definitely a mom and pop type operation making this out of their kitchen. No expiration date, even though there's a line for it. Another strike against it, in my opinion. I'd like to know how long this might keep. So this is not really an edible, so I won't be reviewing this on my 4-point evaluation of taste, pain relief, side effects, and price. I'm going to remove taste from it because this is pretty well a medicine. So, you know, if you don't complain about NyQuil not tasting good, so this isn't going to be a place where I'm going to drop taste out of it. I'll tell you how it tastes, but I won't use it in the evaluation process. So I will take this and open it up. It has a little plastic shrink wrap around the dropper bottle here. Peel that off, just like any other over-the-counter, like NyQuil or anything like that. I'll open it up, take a whiff of it here. It smells like blackberry, a little bit weedy, I can tell in the odor. I can show you here in a dropper. If you can see that, the color is very amber liquid. Kind of looks almost like honey. Anyhow, I'm going to take this and I'm going to stop the video while I'm holding it and swishing it around in my mouth because you really don't want to see that, I'm sure. So here we go. That's about a half a dropper full right there. Oops, it just dripped out on my keyboard. Nice. So here we go. And I'll be back in a sec. Alright, I'm back. As expected, the taste was not very palatable. I mean, it was not as bad as I expected. They had a lot of agave nectar in there to sweeten it, but still a bitter. And that slimy taste of glycerin holding it under the tongue. It wasn't very enjoyable or anything like that. But again, I'm not going to evaluate on taste. And according to the person at the dispensary, they said it should take between 15 minutes and 30 minutes to take effect versus a normal edible for me taking an hour and a half. So we'll see. While doing this, it was just kind of a side note here. Any of you fans of Hunter S. Thompson, and if you've seen Terry Gilliam's directorial version of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I felt like I was in the scene where he takes the adrenochrome from the eyedropper. So I hope it's not quite, doesn't quite have that effect that comes out in that movie, but again, right now I'll sign off, and depending on how this works, I will either come back later this evening or tomorrow morning. Well, it's the next morning, and it's time for the final assessment of the THG Tincture Indica strain. Since taste isn't a criteria, as I mentioned, for this, it'll be reviewed based on pain relief, side effects, and value. And this time, I'll get into it, but it can't really be a milligram per dollar interpretation. So let's get into it. The pain relief, concerning pain relief, it was very impressive. Remember, I only took a half dropper full, and I was feeling its effects by the time I signed off last night. I mean, it hit quick while it was swishing around in my mouth and swallowed. I mean, I was already starting to feel it come up. I was feeling the body buzz start already. I have to say, I was highly recommend that you start with a half dropper if you are a low tolerance patient, because it comes on fast and furious. And it peaked around 20 minutes after I took the dose. I mean, this is a lot quicker than a normal edible. You know, I don't have to wait 90 to 120 minutes to get the full effect as with the standard edibles. On the downside, this also meant that the pain relief didn't last as long. From start to finish, it lasted, I'd say maybe 3 hours. And that's not bad, that's pretty good. But a huge benefit I see going forward is that the next time I take this, I know in about 2 to 3 hours, I can take another half dropper if I need it. So it makes it, that is if I'm not asleep, because we'll get into that in the side effects in the next section of the review. The takeaway here, let me get to the point, the takeaway here is that it's an excellent rapid pain relief for when you don't want to wait. So I give it a solid 8 for pain relief, factoring in everything, and the speed of which it comes in, and the length, the duration of how long it lasts. Side effects, well, I'll say there were very little head effects, being that this was an indica tincture. So that's good for me. I was able to go out for a walk, felt fine, and felt a little heavy and tired, but I didn't feel uncomfortable or anything in public. It was fine. Got very powerful body relaxation effects. I went for a walk and I felt completely comfortable in public. I didn't have any head high or any feelings that I had any difficulty acting normal. Felt a little groggy, a little heavy, but the walk went well. Again, this was a very relaxing dose. So that makes me come to the conclusion that this is definitely a nighttime medication. I slept very well, as you could expect, and woke up feeling clear-headed and refreshed. So at this point, I will rate the side effects as a pretty good rating of 8. Makes you sleepy, but if you take that into consideration and use it at night, that makes it a very good medication. So price, here's where it gets a bit squishy. Everything I've been reviewing so far is like milligrams per dollar, and you take a specific chunk of the edible, and you can divide it pretty easily and get the calculation. Now I've got this bottle of liquid here, and it's making me kind of difficult. I don't really want to take all the droppers out and put it in a glass and calculate it, so I'm going to estimate that there are 15 droppers full worth of medication in this bottle. And if you factor in the fact that I took half a dropper full, that gives me, at my current dosage, 30 doses for $30. So if you calculate it out and it goes, 150 milligrams per $30, that comes out as an abysmal 5 milligrams per dollar price ratio. But when you have 30 doses in the bottle, and factoring in how quick it works and how good it works, I'm going to have to give this a rating of 8 as well for value, because a little dab will do you. I think it has to do with the fact of how quickly the body can absorb this sublingually versus eating it and taking it through your digestive system. All right, so this makes a pretty easy rating to calculate. I've got 8 for price, I've got 8 for side effects, and 8 for pain relief. Yeah, gee, I wonder what the average is when you divide by 3. 24 divided by 3 is, well, you guessed it, 8. What a surprise. Well, that's it for now. And in the comments, the YouTuber HC Fisher made a good point that I need to keep, help remind you to click the like button down below or leave comments if any of this you found useful. And if there's anything you'd like me to change or any constructive criticism you'd like to leave, please leave that in the comments below as well. So until next time, goodbye and stay medicated.